Megan Phillips was a bright and successful businesswoman born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia. She was a force to be reckoned with. Megan was abruptly shaken from her life of success and comfort when she was called home to visit family for an emergency. It had been 7 years since she had last been back to her hometown, and it was the last place she wanted to be. She dreaded the questions friends and family may ask about the choices she'd made since leaving, the choices that kept her from coming back for all those years. She grew worried about the way things had changed and how she would respond to those changes. Most of all, she was scared to confront her past. When she arrived, Megan's anxiousness only grew as she was overwhelmed suddenly with the sights and sounds of home. Everything felt so much smaller and somehow less familiar. When walking the streets, Megan felt like a stranger. People who may have known her name knew nothing of the story that had slowly unfolded since she'd left. While running errands and taking care of her business, the memories she held so tightly to her heart slowly began to slip away. Finally, when Megan thought she was growing more comfortable, her past caught up with her. On a late summer evening, she arrived at the local diner for dinner with an old friend, only to be sharply reminded of why she had stayed away for so long. Sitting in a booth at the far end of the room was the woman who had caused her so much pain. The woman responsible for Megan's sense of abandonment, who had made her feel so insignificant and unworthy. Megan sat frozen in place, feeling suddenly breathless. All the fear and pain of the past welled up inside her, and her mind reeled, trying to make sense of the guilt she felt and the urge to stay away. Then, as if on instinct, she pushed herself up and cautiously walked over to the woman's table. "Megan, I heard you were back in town," the woman said, standing to give her a hug initially. Megan felt confused and cautiously kept her distance. But as the woman kept talking, telling Megan all the exciting things that had happened since she'd left, and filling her in on her lifelong friends still in the town, Megan felt her heart warm. Just as Megan had begun to open up, the woman said she had to leave for an appointment and asked Megan to join her for coffee the next morning. Megan bit her lip, considering, but nodded and agreed to meet her. But the woman got up and left without setting a specific time. As Megan drove home that night, she felt a confusing mix of emotions. She was still filled with fear and unresolved pain, but at the same time, she felt a spark of hope as she considered a possible future of reconciliation. The story seemed far from over, and Megan was left feeling joy and sorrow as she reflected on her time in her hometown and the future that lay ahead.
Do you have a suggestion for a new story? Comment below and subscribe to not miss the next one.